Oh, what's going on, y'all? Zane's here. This is gonna be a different video. Not like my typical BMX videos, but I do think you guys will enjoy it. It's a little bit. I go to every now and then these tracks I've been going to the past few months. People they've always wondered, or I've gotten asked like, who is this guy? Like, where'd he come from, etc. So I thought it'd be kind of like a cool, like a little light bulb in my head went off, and it was like, hey, make a video on it. Just a little bit about your history in BMX, and yeah, so that's what this video is going to be about. That's just a rundown. It might be just me talking. I'm going to put some clips in of old racing and me on a bike, and hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. And yeah, if you guys are around at any tracks and you see this, just come say what's up. But by no means am I like, I don't think I'm threatening, but like, it's kind of cool, like being approached and be like, oh, you're doing great things for the BMX community, and that's the goal. So yeah, like I said, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Follow my socials too. Like, feel free to message me, talk to me. What's up? I'll help you out, give you some pointers. I'm not like a pro or anything, but I've been doing this for a while, and that's what this video is about. So let's get to it. Right off the bat, growing up in Hawaii, we didn't have much to do. My dad was big into motocross, right? And you would just see him launching himself off these 30-foot jumps. I want to get to doing that. So we did that. We did that in Hawaii. We did that quite a bit. By the time it was time to relocate, we had to go to a small town called Oswego, Illinois. Got a lot of good people there, made a lot of good friends, and hope they're all doing well. But yeah, so we moved to Illinois. And all my friends at the time, they were big into like the junior football leagues or whatever. And that was the thing to do there, And I was just like, okay, I'll try it. Football seems cool. I like my Packers. So maybe one day I can be like that, And yeah, they didn't have any open spots. So naturally, we looked for the next best thing. And motocross wasn't a thing at the time, I don't believe, or it was just like too expensive or something. I can't remember the exact reason why we didn't keep doing motocross, but I just remember one day my dad came up to me. He's like, hey, like, you want to try this thing called BMX? And I was like in the X Games, like a BMX freestyle, He's like, no, like BMX racing. And I was like, what? I was confused. And he was just trying to explain, the best way you can explain it is it's just like motocross, but it's not a dirt bike, it's a bicycle. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, we did that. And it turns out the closest track is probably one of my favorites to this day. It's called The Hill in Elgin, Illinois. And I've been keeping up with them, and I want to make a trip out there to see the track again and just see who. I know a few people that still race, that I grew up with. So it'd be kind of cool to see them again, and they're doing great things at Elgin. Carly Kane was just there, and she gave a clinic, and that's pretty sick. Yeah, that became our thing. We started at Elgin, and then it turns out there's another track not too far away from Oswego, and it was Rockford, and the Rock, Rockford, Illinois, one of the best tracks in the country. And like I said, I gotta make a trip out there too, because they got the Midwest Nationals every year there, and couldn't afford it this year, but that's the dream, to be able to travel and do that stuff. We grew up with Elgin and Rockford. And, first year, I don't think it was like a full season. I think we were starting out and kind of just like waited for the next year to like fully get into it, So I think it was 2005. I think that was our first like time, like first getting into it, Illinois, we grew up racing at Rockford, Elgin. Wintertime, you had Steel Wheels, Indiana, one of my personal favorite tracks, and just a lot of racing. That was the thing to do. It might be like egotistical of me to say, but like it was kind of cool to be different, like a lot of kids played football, they did baseball, they did, like I was a BMX racer, and people were like, that was before the Olympics too. Before BMX was in the Olympics. So it was like, what's BMX racing, And it was kind of cool, you just stood out, and it was kind of like a pride thing. BMX racers are very prideful, and you guys should be proud, It's not an easy sport by any means, and it's very, very unique, So, and the community is not very big either. So it's like, it's kind of cool when you find people with common interests, like a sport like BMX, you know. Started that out. My first bike, I believe, was like an old Chromaly Redline bike. I think that thing had to have weighed like 60 pounds, I think. And that would not fly in today's standards. But yeah, that was not like a stepping stone. Like, you have to learn to earn a bike, pretty much. You know, my dad is he's ambitious, but he will make you work for it, you know? Like, he got me the first bike, and he would be like, hey, make intermediate, you'll get a new bike. So, you know, and it's kind of like it was it was just interesting, you know? I get my ambition from my dad. You know, he was 0 to 100 all the time. You know, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it right. We're going to do it to the best of our ability. And I'm grateful for that. You know, he's a hell of a dude. Mom too, you know, they pushed me. They didn't just like toss me into like feed me to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? They didn't just feed me to the wolves. They kind of they're like, hey, you're going to do this and you're going to do this. And then boom, you know? And it was just like, hey, you know, I'm grateful. You know, I've never realized how hard it is to maintain in this sport. It's an expensive sport, you know, and we traveled quite a bit. But yeah, the bike, you know, we got a bike. I was super excited. And yeah, Elgin it's a great learning track because it's just big jumps downhill, you know, and Rockford's another great track to understand the fundamentals of BMX, you know. That's what I think I talked about it in like one of the first videos I made when I started racing again. A lot of tracks, the flat tracks, you got to pedal more, you got to be more technical, you got to learn how to carry your speed. Whereas downhill tracks, you kind of like find the right momentum and the rhythm, you know what I'm saying? But that was the two like stepping stones I needed to get into the sport. So I don't know what year. I think 2005 was the year we started, but 2006 was like our first full season, I think. Made intermediate, constantly racing, you know, and my dad sent me to a camp in Indiana with a couple of friends to be trained it was like a 2-week-long camp or something like that. I think it was like 11 days in Indiana with the Redline pros at the time. So you had Bubba Harris, you had Jason Carnes, and Elise Willoughby now, you know, and we spent the whole 11 days or however long it was with them at the track, you know, and it was like a campsite. It was one of the best experiences of my life, you know, just learning BMX from the ground up, and it helped me become who I am today. You know, by no means am I on their level or like the pros today. I've seen a lot of experience growing up into the sport and being in the Midwest. You know, Midwest region is probably, I would argue, probably one of the better regions for BMX, you know, with just how many tracks there are, and, you know, but yeah, so our first full season, I believe, was 2006. I made intermediate sometime then, but we were racing nationals nonstop. My dad is like I said, he's ambitious, and he's really good at talking to people, unlike me, you know. That's why I created content, or start doing content creation, because I wanted to learn how to talk to people and handle my PTSD and my social anxiety, you know, blah, blah, blah. He would talk, and he was finding out. He was like, okay, this is what you need to do to get district, you know, state titles. At the time, it's called Redline Cup, you know, that's the Gold Cup now. He's like, this is what we need to do for all these. And then he found out about nationals, and he's like, all right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, very ambitious, and he wants us to be the best that we can be. And I'm grateful for the opportunity and everything that my mom and dad did for me, because like looking back at it, like, it's some of the best memories, you know, some of the best life lessons, some of the like just best people I've ever met, you know. It's just like, it's an experience like no other. And grateful and blessed that my parents pushed me and didn't just like kind of, you know, they pushed me, they helped me become who I am today. So I'm grateful and blessed. But yeah, so we started doing all the things, you know, district. We were pushing for district. We were pushing for state. We were pushing for Redline Cup, and we were pushing for nationals. So that was our first full season. We were going cross country doing it. That was the first time I went to the East Coast. That was the first time I went Kentucky, you know, Tennessee, Florida. You know, we went all over the country, and it was some of the best times I've ever had. And, you know, it's one of those memories. Like, there's no better feeling than doing something you love with your family, and like your whole family's into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a unique environment and just different all around. Just race nationals. I've never won a national. I got Redline Cup like top 3, I think, a couple times. I don't think I've ever won it. I've gotten state title a couple times, but never. And I think the highest I placed in Illinois district was 3rd. So, and I think I was nationally ranked something. Pretty much is just like we hit the ground running, and it didn't stop for, I think it was about 4 years until we moved again, you know? And before we go into that, you know, I'm going to insert a clip somewhere in here, and I'm just going to talk over it. 2006, like I said, first full season, and we went to Grand Nationals, you know, Tulsa. And that was an experience in itself because, like, you see people you've made friends with at nationals all at the same place. You know, you're at the same hotel. You're having fun. You're in a whole new state. You know, I've never been to Oklahoma. And that was one of the cooler things I've ever done in my life was just go to Tulsa and, like, see, like, so many people that have, like, we're all BMX racers. You know, like, that's the dream right there. It's like going to the Super Bowl. Like, if I went to, like, a Packers Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would fit in Lambeau. It has to be in Lambeau. You know what I'm saying? But, like, that's what I'm trying to say is, like, it's just, like, that's one of the most unique environments and just, like, cultures I've ever been a part of, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I hope to get there again someday. But, yeah, I was a 10 intermediate, 2006. It was a long weekend. I remember that. And qualifying for mains was, like, a massive deal. And I was like, I don't think anyone expected that in my first full season, you know? And, you know, like I said earlier, my dad got me a better bike. I was like an old little, I think it was a Croupi. That's what it was. It was like a green Croupi, and I loved that bike. You know, my helmet was like black and red, and I had that black and white jersey. I still have it somewhere. See, I like the Fox stuff. That's the jersey from Grands when I was 10 years old. I got Zaniac literally like pressed onto this jersey at Grands, that race right here. And yeah, that was some of the that was before I rebranded because of Xbox. Yeah, like I said, like it's just like I made the mains, and I've never been so nervous in my life, you know. So the mains, the quality's gonna be awful. It's from 2006, but I think I had like gate 2. You know, not a bad gate. I didn't like the inside lines, but, you know, and there's a big kid. Like, the kid next to me was massive. I remember him being like a big old 10-year-old. But, yeah, I'm just going to go play by play here. The gate drops, you know, not a bad gate, not my best gate, but, you know, I just remember not stop pedaling. I was pedaling midair and over that double right there, kept pedaling. I just kept pedaling no matter what. That was like all I remember doing the most. You know, second straight, I had the whole shot. I was trying to block out the inside, and then the dude pushes me to the inside. That was a big 10-year-old kid I was talking about. But at that moment in time, I was bawling my eyes out, man. And he killed that rhythm section. And I was trying to wheelie over that stuff. I was trying to pedal. I was trying to catch up. I was screaming in my head. I was like, dude, like, you just had it and you blew it. And that was such a long track, dude. I almost gave up second place, too. That kid was digging. But I wasn't even, like, celebrating after the race. I started crying immediately. And it was one of the craziest things, you know. Yeah, that was a big deal for me because right soon after, like the next season, I got picked up by a factory team. I got that jersey too, actually. I got picked up by a factory team, factory Team 2 Racing. You know, it's a little old, but you see? Factory Team 2 Racing. They were an intense sponsor or something like that, intense team. And they picked me up, and I raced for them for, I think, a year or two. We continued next year doing the same thing, you know, trying to hit as many nationals as we can, you know. I never had any luck in national races. I made mains or, you know, I'd always crash. I crashed a lot. You know, you learn a lot from crashing. You know, you try lines, and I wish I had footage, but you try lines, and they don't work out, and you know, that's all right. But yeah, so I made that factory team. I was still an intermediate, and then became expert, and then switched over. I think we raced for a little bit longer. Soon after we started, like BMX started fading out, and that was around like 2008, 2009 ish, I think. We were kind of still keeping up with it, but uh, it's actually kind of cool. So once I got off of that, once I got like left that factory team two racing, kept the bikes. I raced cruiser and class, and they're both intense. They're gorgeous bikes. I miss those things. My dad started a team, and it was a number plate team. He's like trying to get into graphic design. He was pretty good at it. He made most of my jerseys, but I'm pretty sure I have this right too. I think I was on the factory team then race face, but I can't remember. My timeline's all mixed up. But there's the jersey for race face plates. Not too shabby. Pretty good sponsors. It's pretty funny, like looking back at it. It's kind of cool, but it's just simple. But that's Jason Karn's signature right there. So this is before we moved to West Virginia. My final team before my family stopped racing completely was RPM. So not the DK bike. The bike I was on was the prototype for this team. And it's a Pro XL, I think. The lighting in the camera won't do it justice, but this is an RPM bike. That black one is an RPM bike. That's the prototype for this bike. And this was it. You can zoom in. The camera won't do it justice though. But this was created from a couple old racers. I think the designer of Redmond, we made it, like it was debuted. Like I debuted this bike at Rockford Nationals. So it was cool. It was a cool thing. And my dad, this is the favorite one I wore in the other video. Go check that video out. But this was one I helped dad design because I was like, hey, like I just want something that looks like pajamas, but it's like patriotic as hell. And this is what he got. So yeah, that's my favorite jersey. This was the final RPM jersey, final jersey before I stopped racing because I wanted pinstripes. I told him I want digi camo and pinstripes. And it still looks like pajamas, so it's cool. But that's the one. I liked Fox too. We were kind of cool. We were doing pretty well. That was the final jersey, and that was probably I made expert. I think on that green Kruppy I was telling y'all about that I raced as an intermediate, and then as soon as I made expert, or no, I made expert on that intense for the factory team. That's right, and then intense to this RPM bike, and it was just my dad pretty much like designed these and everything. He got this right here, a little different. It says Pro XL right there, so that's got to be a double XL or something. I don't know. I think they might be the same size. I can't remember. So then BMX slowly starts to fade out, and we move to West Virginia. And the first thing I know or ask is, where the hell is West Virginia? And then I love West Virginia. Little town called Charlestown, West Virginia. I love West Virginia. I'm a mountaineer and just proud of being from West Virginia. And I call it home, and I was welcome, That's where I met some lifelong friends, my best friends. We don't talk much, but we're still all best friends. We still know, like, we got each other's back, West Virginians are some of the most generous and, like, kind people, unless you piss them off, but who isn't, But, yeah, so we moved to West Virginia. High school starts, and, yeah, so BMX was put on a pause. We would try every now and then, but never worked out with football and wrestling. We were the closest tracks. We were right in between Hagerstown and Winchester, and I just discovered Nova was a track this year, and that's why I went there. I was like, this track's sick, But they're all pretty close. Yeah, but Winchester, Hagerstown, and Nova, and then you got Chesapeake, but that's kind of a further drive. But yeah. we did the effort for like the first year. Like when we got to West Virginia, we tried doing it. And then like it just couldn't keep up with the schedule. You know, my sister did cheerleading, and my little brothers were getting into school, and I was doing football, wrestling, you know, weightlifting, all that good stuff. Fades out. And then I try to go to college for football. Don't get along. And then I decided to join the Navy. Yep. So I became a diesel mechanic in the Navy for 7 years. Had 2 wonderful boys. Yeah, I got out, and now I'm in Maryland. You know, reliving the dream, trying to make it a damn thing, make it happen. You know, and just trying to bring recognition to like what the track operators do, what the sport's about. You know, what the community looks like. My personal like journey back into the sport, as well as like how to improve, and like if I'm improving. That's why I make so many videos, and they're at the same tracks. You know, I'm kind of like, I want like video evidence. I don't know how to word this. Like video evidence of like me improving, you know, and I want you guys like to witness it, because like it's kind of cool. I don't know. It's just fun. I like doing it, and it's cool. It's fun stuff, you know. That's my history. Not much, like I said. Nothing very notable. Factory team, second place at Grands, and now I'm trying to just get back into it, get better, and hopefully become a pro, or a coach, or you know, just see what we can get. You know, state title, Gold Cup, that ambition thing I was telling y'all about earlier. It's like that. Like I want to see how far I can take it in my first year back after 11 years or so. You guys watch it, you know, I appreciate it, and like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Follow my socials. Like I said, feel free to message me about BMX, or if you need someone to talk to, all that good stuff. If you see me at a track, you know, say what's up. You know, I won't get you on camera unless you want to be. And yeah, that's about it. I can't think of anything else. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye.